And we are live. All right, Pot. Him and his orange slices. Everybody good?
Oh yeah.
All right. We in the building. We are live. How's everybody doing?
Great.
That's what's up. Well, here's another show of POD, Put Out Direct. I am your host, your brother Mordeeb. We got a very interesting show today. Controversial topic, but it's been coming up in conversation as of lately. And, you know, I guess the barbershops would be a place where we discuss a lot of things in our community and how we feel about it. But there's a reoccurring theme that came up, and I thought it was very interesting. So I said, you know what, we'll discuss it on the show. And it's basically, is gender a choice? There was an article put out a couple weeks ago by a well-known rapper, him and his, I think, wife now, Young Jeezy. And they're having a child, their first child. Congratulations to them. But the headline, and let me see here. Hold on one second. Boop, 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 boop. In the headline,
I can't really see that.
you see it now?
A little bit. It's
Well,
far away.
Let me see if I can.
It's good enough, though, man. If anything.
All right. Well, I'll just read it for those who can't quite see it. But basically, Young Jeezy, they decided to raise their child gender fluid, and that's like saying gender neutral. And the discussion was, you know, some people are, you know, they feel like that's a good thing, and then you got a lot of people who feel like that's a little weird. But we're going to discuss that. That was an article that sparked a lot of debate, and the question is, you know, you have a child is born a girl, you know, do you raise it as a girl? If it's born a male child, do you raise it as a boy? But now this new thing that we are venturing into, and I just personally think that I am pro-choice, but I still think that society, I always say this, and it's something that I adopted from one of my elders, that man has a bad relationship with nature, and it's pretty much how we get in hot water and how we have major issues in our civilization when we have a bad relationship with nature. When we start to stray away from the natural / nature order of things, it produces some turbulence in our existence. And with situations like this, you know, I think we'll run into some problems down the road, but we'll open that can of worms and we'll talk about that. We'll get into that. But I definitely wanted to share that. But yeah, that is the topic of tonight. You know, is gender a choice? And we'll get into that. So everybody buckle up, and we're going to get on our journey of POD, Put Out Direct podcast. I'm your brother Mordeeb, and we're going to do it. And we are back. So how is
Um,
everybody doing? How's everybody doing?
Good. I'm
How are
good.
things going in Palm Beach, Florida? How things are going?
It's raining rainy today, but good. It was so cold here. I think I told you guys that, did I? This week it
Yeah,
was like 40 degrees. It was freezing.
I saw
But
something. Not to cut that, but I saw something because we had a volcano to erupt
mm-hmm.
a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
But they were saying from that eruption, it's going to cause our
Icy.
planet to cool and to become more extreme in our cold weather. And they mentioned Florida. They said if you live in Florida, get you some heavy coats and all this other stuff because it's gonna cool off. I
it
don't know.
was
I don't. I
really
don't know
cold.
if. I don't know if that has kicked in yet for
It
that.
did.
But yeah, they were saying because I watched Drink Champs with Nori, and I think they shoot that from Miami if I'm not mistaken. And he was saying it felt like he was still in New York.
Yeah.
It was just
Oh,
that cold.
it was cold. Like from my door to the car, my fingers were like, it was really, and I
Mm-hmm.
said, for me to say like that I miss New Jersey, like when I was saying it, like, oh, I miss the winter time in New Jersey, that was enough for me. That couple of days, I was like, okay, that's it. Like, that's gone.
Wow.
That is definitely gone. Like the cold weather, yeah. That 3 days or a couple of days, that it was really cold.
Well, DCR, y'all still got all that snow sitting around, or
Well, rain took care of that, baby. It was pretty warm last few days. Had sun, rain. It's all washed away. It's all good.
so I guess now y'all just getting ready for y'all next batch.
Exactly. Looking for it. Looking for it always.
Yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
warm. It warm. It was cold here, and then it warmed up. I think the highest we got in the past couple of days probably was like 60, 66, 67. It was close to 70, so it was a
That's
very
good
good
though.
warm up for us. But of course, anytime you're in a cold period, and you have that warm air that comes
Uh-huh.
back in, then there's gonna be rain coming after that, and then it's gonna get cold again. So we're back
Right.
in the cold snap. It was a little warm today. 60 to us is like very comfortable. 60 is good. If we can stay in the 60s, we good. This winter it's been cold. It's
It's
been
cold
cold.
right here now. It's cold now. I feel like it's 20s outside right now.
Yeah, it's like a biting cold.
Yeah. So we definitely had I would say we've been having a cold winter. Um,
What I
I
predicted.
I
Right?
primarily I like when our winters are rainy in the south. I like a rainy winter. Yeah.
Why?
Sounds pretty sad.
Um, Me and rain. That's a whole nother conversation. But
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I prefer the rain during the wintertime. And that's primarily if we're gonna be above average in our winter temperatures. So it'll be more rainy because in the winter you have to have cold air primarily. But if the temperature is going to be above average, you're going to have a lot of rain as that cold and hot air consistently clashes all the
Right.
time, and this is going to be a rainy period. Um, and that's probably why you guys are getting the rain you're getting because it probably did warm up at one point since you guys been cold,
Mm-hmm. It
and
did.
then yeah, and then that produces the rain when the cold air comes back in. But yeah, so that's that. I really be glad when this at least spring kick in because I like the plant stuff and all that jazz. But you
I
know,
don't like none of that stuff,
That's
man. You know, I
nice.
don't like none of that stuff because it brings the bugs. I don't like bugs, man. You don't
I
like?
don't like bugs either.
I don't like.
However, the spring planting is nice, yes, but for me, that just it's closer to hurricane season. So it just, it's kind of, that's another thing to kind of, oh gosh, you don't
Yeah.
know what's coming, when it's coming, blah, blah, blah.
It feels good when you could drop your food on the ground. You could pick it up and just wipe it off and eat it when it's cold outside.
It's too
You don't have to worry
cold,
about
bro.
germs. You don't have to worry about bugs getting in there. None of that. All you got to just wipe it off and eat it.
Wipe it
It's too
off
cold.
and eat it.
I dropped the sausage like about,
TMI.
huh?
TMI. This is like the story of the cold fart. So, yeah.
Did I say something about the cold fart?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
didn't.
did.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was walking to the car and dropped I had some kind of cheese sausage hot dog or some shit. Shit fell on the ground. That shit back up, wiped it off, put it back in the thing, and it was good, man. No
No
bugs, nothing.
filter.
Cold.
No,
It was
no.
cold.
This is real as it gets, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Straight no chaser. That's bugged out. But yeah, man. The weather's a little wacky, but it is what it is. I can't wait till the springtime because I do like to plant like tomatoes and okras and all that jazz. I like, whatever,
That's
whatever.
Oh,
so nice. My mom has in her garden in her yard, like she has everything. She has like mint leaves, she has turmeric, she has um yucca, you name it, she has it. Tomatoes,
That's what's up.
um
what's up with
papayas. She got papayas. She has like three different mango trees. Like
Wow.
her yard is
some,
big, but it's like she has, you name it, she has it back there.
I need to be there. That sounds like a pretty,
Aloe, like she has everything.
damn.
Everything.
That's the move. Mango trees. Oh my God.
She has like three different ones. I don't know the difference between them, but she has like three different ones. She even has sugar canes. Like it's
Wow. Yeah, I
crazy.
used to.
She has
Yeah.
everything.
Now we
That's
know
what's
where to
up.
go. It all falls down.
Yeah.
It all falls
I
down.
just told everybody.
Mm,
Go to Joanne house. They got everything
Right.
in the backyard.
mm.
Yo.
Little food market back there, boy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, man, I got three well actually I got two articles that I wanted to talk about right quick. I'm gonna put one on the screen. I thought this was very interesting because you know, just over the years I've not kept up with, but I've taken time here and there to just to see what the mainstream media primarily is talking about. They got mainstream, not just the news, but they actually have shows that I classify as mainstream. But yeah, let me get this
Man, they
right
just
quick.
selling everybody a basket of rotten tomatoes, man. That's all they doing, man. Just giving you a basket of rotten tomatoes and telling you that this is how it's supposed to be done nowadays. This is what it should be like. That's basically what they doing, man. You need to eat rotten tomatoes now instead of fresh ones. We want rotten,
Yeah, I thought
you
this
know.
was this was
So crazy how they can just program people that way. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
and
this
that's why they
isn't
do it.
good. You have to eat it this way now, and everybody just kind of goes with that whole narrative.
And yep,
okay.
then you don't know it. Then you're not professional. You're none of this, and so you're not qualified to speak on certain things if you haven't. You know what I mean? Like, get out of
Mm-hmm.
here.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with that qualification?
Okay. This is the article that I want. One of the articles I wanted to touch on right quick because I thought this was interesting because it kind of got under my skin over the years. But anyhow, your girl Whoopi, she made some comments about the Jews, right? And it wasn't nothing like out there. She was basically saying that the whole situation with the Holocaust, she said it wasn't about race. It was more about man just being evil to his fellow man. Of course, her handlers didn't like that, and she got suspended from the show. And her take on that was, when you look at Hitler and you look at Jewish people, they look the same. So it wasn't about race. Like for us, it was part race because you had Europeans who disliked melanated beings,
Right.
and we were labeled for our skin color and called things for our skin color. So we became it became a race issue. Her comments were, you can't have a race issue if the people that are doing the bad deed look exactly like the people who they are oppressing. So it's like black on black crime, white on white crime. So she was basically saying the Holocaust ain't have nothing to do with race. It was more or less somebody being evil towards his fellow man. They didn't like that because they said it was about race, and she got suspended. But here's the thing. She's on a show called The View, and over the years, especially when all of this crazy wackiness popped off about CV-19, she was real outspoken about people who were pro-choice, who didn't want the candy, and she was very condescending about those people. She felt like, y'all need to fall in line because you got people who work for mainstream, who push mainstream agenda. And that bothered me because here you are, a melanated woman, and you have this ideology that you're pushing on us and shaming us because it's opportunity for you. Steve Harvey used to get under my skin like that too. He had this thing of, kind of not sucking up, but just, I'm gonna call it what it is. He used to just shuck and jive for white folks, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then when it came to issues with us, he would be very condescending with his people because he had a platform and he was on mainstream television, daytime television, and I just didn't like that. But anyhow, this woman made me feel the same way, right? And I thought it was very funny and karmically entwined when the chickens came home to roost for her when she made her comments, and then her handlers came out and was like, look, don't you say that shit. Matter of fact, go sit in the corner for a minute.
Right. Right.
Matter of fact, if you don't come and apologize and get this shit right in front of everybody, we just gonna cancel you. So it's funny how you can't serve two masters. You can't be with your folks and then serve somebody else. And then when it's convenient, try to come back across the fence. But I thought this was very interesting. And the funny thing is, people who promoted the candy and pushed the candy, which she was one of them, and turned around and had some ill effects from all of that. So karma's a bitch. That's all
Karma
I gotta
is.
say about that. Anybody want to chime in on that?
Isn't that more of a prejudice? Like
What?
the whole Holocaust thing?
Far as what happened?
As far as like, um, because sometimes like saying it's a race issue, that it wasn't a race issue, that it was more like a prejudice, like
Um,
Hitler with against like with the Jews.
yeah, I mean that's pretty much what she was saying, but
Yeah.
she just summed it up as you just got an evil motherfucker who did bad shit to his fellow man, and they looked alike. So it wasn't about race.
Oh, I got a question too, though. Hitler, the whole thing about Hitler, I'm not really sold on the Hitler story. You know what I mean? I'm not like completely sold on that story though. Every time when I hear things about Hitler or Hitler is bad this, bad that, I'm just not really sold on it. Really, I'm just not sold on that story. I
Well, if
just
you
I'm not
if you
sold
look
on it.
at if you look at how the story is given, then that's pretty much the narrative that we flow with.
Right.
If you do some real extensive research, you would definitely find that there are other things that happen according to all of this, but you really got to do your own research. People like to control the narrative, and when people control the narrative, you got to ask what is the agenda for everybody getting the same story. It's kind of like them telling the story of slavery, and but they're telling it to us. we
Right.
don't we don't get to tell the story. They're telling it to us, and that's the only story that we can pretty much flow with. But if you do your own research, you'll find out that the story given to you, that shit don't even pan out right. So,
Exactly. It's kind of
so
hard to
you
feed
know,
this shit.
so far as that goes, you know, I really don't worry about shit like that because that is something. Now, if you look at it as a planetary thing, then I can have a very limited view on it. But for the most part, I'm really only concerned with melanated plight. I'm pro black,
Right.
and I don't like to use the term black, but I'm pro original man. Let's put it that way: original man, original woman. And there's nothing wrong with that because, and I tell people all the time, when you have people like white supremacists, right? What's wrong with that? You have people who are proclaiming in their own mind they're supreme amongst all. White pride. Where are the people that look like me who have that same ideology? You should be prideful of your people.
Right.
But when you sell this thing that, we're all. And if that's true, we pretty much wouldn't be having all of these weird subcategories of all this shit going on. Follow nature. I just say nature is the blueprint. Nature is the blueprint. That's
And
just
nature
like
is about
if
dominance. So nature is about dominance, and it's foul, but nature is not too nice, man. Nature is a one hungry
so
lion out there ready to eat up everything.
so let's not use the term nice and let's look at it in the sense of organized chaos. That's the universe.
Hmm.
Because if
Yeah.
you go out, if
It
you
is.
if you have the ability, which I mean, I'm just saying, if you just imagine you going out into the cosmos, right? You'll see shit that looks extremely destructive. You'll see things that are black holes sucking in.
The black.
You'll see all types of
That's right.
shit,
The black
but
hole.
it's all structured chaos. Hell, our bodies are structured chaos. Every fucking thing is structured chaos. So it has order. So nature, like the ocean, people who don't respect nature get fucked up by nature.
That's so true.
That's
That's
all.
so
You get
true.
fucked up by nature. The ocean looks chaotic like a motherfucker. If you ever like stand on a pier or you're on a boat and it's stormy and the waves and the water and your imagination is like, how deep is this shit? What if I fell in this shit? What if I was trapped in this shit way out somewhere? Like you would be at the mercy of the elements. You got to respect that. But you got some people they don't respect the natural order of things. But I just I stay in my lane with certain things because that's part of the work why I came here in the first place. But I think Whoopi, you know, she needed that ass whooping, and it's probably not over. So
No, it's not. It's far from over.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
hate though? Like when these celebrities like say certain things, I guess for work purposes or whatever, I don't know. They say certain things, you said something because that's what you meant and that's what you felt, and then you have to turn around. Well, you don't have to, but you turn around and you come back and you apologize. Like I hate that because it's like what the hell? Like you said something that you meant in that moment. You know what I mean? Like you felt that way, you meant it, and now people are making you apologize. Like for,
Yeah, I
you
feel you
know?
on that. I feel you on
Yeah, I
that.
hate that because it's like who's going to stand on, like when are these people just going to stand on, okay, I said it, majority of people didn't like it, but I'm still standing firm on what I said. Like it's what I mean, like, and I also think that I think now society is so sensitive about everything. You can't breathe the wrong way. You can't cough the wrong way. You can't have an opinion about, I don't like this blue dress. Everybody's ready to, attack you. And you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
everybody's so sensitive. You can't have an opinion about anything anymore.
a controlled
Yep.
society.
Yeah, I
That's
mean, you
pretty much.
can, but.
There's consequences.
Uh,
But
Consequences.
here's the thing about entertainers though, and athletes and movie stars. Once you get to a certain level,
yep.
and keep in mind, if I own the network, right, I'm a billionaire, and you're like my prize. Let's take LeBron for instance. He plays for the NBA. Somebody owns the NBA. Somebody runs the NBA. There's people at the top who play. They pay all these players all this money. They make billions of fucking dollars. The minute you leave high school, my organization is watching you. The minute you leave college, my organization is got dibs on you, right? And we're going to pay you X amount of millions of dollars, which means I have people on my staff that know everything about your life, know everything about your parents, know everything about your parents' struggle, know everything about you, your weaknesses, what you into, who you hang with, everything. It's like they do a thorough check on you before they say, here, I'm going to give you $12 million to come work for me, to play for me. So
Hmm.
I did research in my investment. I know about my investment. They knew Michael Vick was fighting them goddamn dogs.
They knew that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
swear they knew that.
It's just like once it gets out of their control and the public gets it, now it's like, okay, what are you going to do? How do we, how do we fix this? They can make things go away.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if it gets too far ahead of them, for them to save their money and their franchise, they're going to have to burn you on it. That's pretty much what happened to him. Now, I say that to say that they know so much about you that when you do speak out about things, there's things that you've done while you've been in that business that they have under lock and key that they can release at any moment. If you're willing to take that hit for your family, then fuck it. Because at the end of the day, it's like, shit, I've made $100 million. If y'all say I can't play no more, fuck you. I'm out of here. I'll go live in the hills somewhere.
That's
But it's
fucking
not.
bondage, though.
It's
That's like
not.
that's
It
bondage.
is. It is. But it's not that easy to leave.
No,
Let me
it's.
tell you.
I'm sure.
Imagine Oprah speaking out against some shit that she's not supposed to open her mouth about.
Right.
Man, we gonna hear about how she's been fucking such and such. She got a baby over here. We gonna hear all types of shit about Oprah. They gonna open the floodgates and let all the information out that they've been hiding about her. And this is how they control these people. They control them with information and shit and dirt that you've done, and they keep it because they own the networks. They own the news. They own the TV. They own everything. They own the radio. So they make sure none of that shit gets out to us. But the minute you fuck up, yeah, you got money. But I'm about to ruin your character. You will never be.
The minute you rebel,
The minute you rebel, they
the
airing
minute
you
you
out.
rebel, then all of a
You
sudden
know
you're
what?
like a.
But a lot of these guys know that when they do rebel, they already know it's over. You know what I mean? They made up their mind. You know what I mean? Like they know once they decide to go with the truth, they know that their life is on the line and everything else is
Yeah,
on the line. They,
yeah.
everything is just pretty much gonna fall from there. And and I do believe the ones who do that are already in preparation years, like a few years before they even start talking on it. They already prepared themselves to kind of navigate out of it. However they whatever they doing, I'm pretty sure they're not just gonna come out of nowhere and say it.
And
They gotta
I
build
respect
some type of
I
escape
respect
route.
those
Go
people
ahead.
more. I respect those
Yeah,
people
hell yeah.
more than the ones that just kind of, oh, I'm gonna renege my statement, and I'm gonna apologize for whatever the case is. Like you,
You know who did that? Nick Cannon. You ever
oh
watch his
my,
podcast?
Nick Cannon,
Yeah. I
and
never
what
He,
he said made you know
yo,
what,
he
and
was on
to
there talking
apologize,
the shit that
like
we talk far as just our history. He was talking. Listen, when he turned around and apologized, I was like, I don't even fuck with him no more.
yeah, I'm done. I'm done with it. Like that was like I was there was so much truth and there was so much truth, and then to turn around and apologize, like I was so
Yo,
mad.
he looked like a straight sucker on that
Like
one.
fuck, like what are you apologizing for? Like it's
But he apologized. He got back in their good graces. He got back on TV. Everything fell back in line. Blah blah blah. Niggas don't want to let go of that star shit. They just don't.
I think it's
Because money is God,
once you the
man. Money is
lifestyle.
God, dog.
You
It's
said the
the
Money is
lifestyle.
lifestyle.
God.
Yeah, I think
That's
it's.
why
I
Money
you
think
is
it's.
have to be
God.
attached to anything because like if you're in easier said than done, but if you're in a position where like you know you have it, but if they took it away from you or if you lost everything, like you would still feel like you were okay. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's
Yeah.
easy to
Here's
say.
the
It's
problem
so
though.
easy to say, but
Yeah, but here's
or going back to being
I'm losing y'all.
regular.
But here's the problem. Here's the real problem. When you stand up and speak for the people and you're for the people really aren't hearing you. You understand what I'm saying? So your punishment will pretty much be in silence.
I was just
Nobody
about to
That's
say
cares. At
that.
the end of the
so
day,
true.
no,
That's
nobody cares. I'm just saying like when you like just like for us, us and you can speak all you want, try to help as many people as you can, but at the end of the day, when all the guns are pointed at your ass, ain't none of them gonna stand in front of that gun or defend you at all. They just gonna let you disappear and talk like, "Do you hear what happened to what's the shit happens?"
Hey,
You make the smartest choice you can because you're giving
hey,
up a lot.
Pop. Hey,
No,
Pop. Are you hooked to the Wi-Fi?
yo, why is
Are you
acting
hooked?
up?
Yeah. You sounding robotic. I don't know if you was hooked to the Wi-Fi. But yeah, man. When you do step out there, sometimes your own people leave you hanging. You won't have that support. So you gotta pick your battles wisely and pick what's worth going down for. And I always had the philosophy if I ever became some well-known individual with a lot of money and I had to stand on something and lose my stardom, cool, fine, because my whole objective from the beginning was to get out of the ghetto and not be poor ever again. I've accomplished that goal. So far as being a star and people, being able to be seen, I don't give a fuck about none of that. My family's
me
good. I'm
either.
good. And I can go to fucking New Zealand somewhere and live in the mountains and be fine. So I ain't got shit to prove to nobody. But the only sneaky thing about that is the fact that they have information on you that things you've been doing that nobody knows about.
Yeah, and that's the violation right there.
Yeah, so they keep
Because at
account of
one click of a
everything.
button, they
Yeah,
can just like let the
yeah. So,
Yeah, but
you know,
that's what I'm saying. Is it worth it? Is it worth the trade off? Is it worth you
right.
trying to, send a message to a bunch of people that just look at you as a victim? You know what I mean? Like you trying to help them, but you're just looked at like he says something, and guess what? Yo, he disappeared. Nobody cares. No,
And
just
I think
nobody cares, bro.
I think
And I
maybe
think that's
my
the
my
problem.
my opinion might come from like being like
Bill
like if you
Cosby.
were if I was in that position, I guess I would kind of I kind of get it, but at the same time, like I would be better off being like the low key person. Nobody knows you. You might be doing so many things like for so many different people, or the biggest celebrity ever, but behind the scenes, like where it's like, who the hell is that? It's like,
Yeah,
oh, you know what I mean, like just a low key. So if any dirt comes out or if any problems, like nobody knows you. They don't give a fuck anyway. They don't know you.
yeah,
You
You
know what
know.
though?
yeah,
I think that, but you know what? But I think they pretty much. I believe that they kind of fertilize dirt on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's the only way to empower
that's
on somebody is by kind of giving them some like giving like planting some evidence on them or something like that, sort of like that. Not saying that you're doing it, but they have a
no, I
way
get
of
it.
to
I
me
get it. I
like
get what you're
like,
saying.
oh, you too good. We got to do like put you in some kind under the umbrella. So it's like
yeah,
somehow they'll have something for you to
Something.
fear. But if you're too good, they'll
yeah,
find something for you to be
yeah.
to be a
And
part of that you didn't know that you was even a part of.
the
But
funny
go ahead.
thing, when you look at if you look at Hollywood, most of your stars who exposed shit they wasn't supposed to, they have them looking real weird and crazy. If
Mm-hmm.
you ever see those stars who went against the rules, and you see them on TV, and they just have them looking old and just
Just
they're
yeah,
losing it,
yeah.
and that's the image that they want to portray to the world, that somewhere they
Yeah.
lost
Jim
the
Carrey.
screw. Who?
You
Jim
talking about Jim
Carrey.
Carrey? Yeah,
Jim
stuff, people
Carrey's
like that.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jim
yeah.
Carrey. Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's the game in Hollywood and blah blah blah. But all that got to come down too. So it is what it is. I want to get into this next article, which I thought was interesting, and it's funny because the entire narrative on CV-19 is changing, and
Oh my God.
it's going to eventually uh, dismantle and just kind of go
Is
away,
it or they just
and
gonna keep coming up
and
with stuff?
they're gonna shift our attention over to something new, and I think that new thing is gonna be global conflict with Russia and
Uh-huh.
China. They're pushing us towards war, which
ISIS
is
and all of that
which is
stuff.
the script. That's the script. The script is, if I can't run the mind control program on the people, and it work, if I can't get it to work properly, I'll just shift over to a conflict, a war. This whole CV-19 thing is unraveling because we got in front of this thing so hard. And even with the censorship, niggas was like, yo, this shit ain't adding up, because they kept moving the fucking goalpost. They kept moving the goalpost. Every week it was some new shit.
Right.
Common
Mm-hmm.
sense started to say, hey, you said this, now you're
Right.
saying that, this don't
Right.
add up, blah, blah, blah. And it started to spread around the planet. And as it spread around the planet and people kind of rebelled a little bit, then it unraveled. And I think this we're watching. And week by week, you're going to see everything that us, I guess you can classify us as conspiracy theorists, which is not even a real thing. We were right all along. And now everything that we've been saying, you see it popping up in articles. Well, we've been said that shit. Well, we've
Right.
been said that shit.
But
Man,
guess
we've
what?
been said that shit.
But nobody
I'm
gives a
No,
fuck. They don't want to
yeah,
listen
but
to
guess
any.
what though?
gonna put this
You're never
article up,
gonna
and y'all gonna
get
see
the
what I
respect
mean.
for that. That the people never gonna give you the respect for it.
No, no. It has to come from
They're gonna
TV or
pretend
an
you never
article.
said it. They're gonna pretend you never said it. That's what they're gonna pretend. Like, yo,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
never, you never said it. You're not smart enough to even come up with no shit like that. You know.
It's damage control, man. They got to do damage control. But yeah, the article was
That's
like,
not,
natural immunity is superior to the vaccine against Delta variant. CDC study finds. So now the CDC is coming out and saying, hey, natural immunity is the fucking bomb. It is great and it works and blah blah blah. But people were literally saying, I had it, I beat it, I'm good, I should have natural immunity. Well, no, 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 no,
Exactly.
no. You can't have natural immunity. That shit don't work with this, huh? So our immune system doesn't adapt to shit after it beats it? Come on, man. But people were buying into this. But now the whole shit is taking a funky turn. And now you got articles like this saying, hey, natural immunity is superior. Superior. So,
we've been talking that though. We've been
After they
talking
fucked
about
everybody
that.
up.
so let that,
After they fucked everybody up.
yeah, yeah. So
And
we'll let
that's
that set in. But that's just one article. There's a whole bunch of them, but we can
But
deal
it
with
takes
that on
common sense though. You should know this. Like I said, stuff like that you should already know though. There is no research to
common
actually know what a
sense is non-existent.
immune system is. Immune system is the ability to fight off and heal and recover. If
Yeah.
you can catch something, yeah, but the immune system has to fight to fix. You know what I mean? You're gonna get sick regardless, no matter what you do. But your immunity will eventually adapt and overcome. That's what it's built for. But
Yeah.
But through all of this, like when people would always say like common sense is not common, like
Yeah.
this, it made so much sense with this, because there are some things that you would ask somebody, like you'd say, well, explain to me, like, and they don't have a real explanation or rationale. They don't even have an understanding as to why. So it's just, it's annoying. It's just
It's
annoying.
a psychosis.
Yeah,
broke
It's a
it
it's
down.
just so
psychosis.
annoying. Like,
Yeah.
it's so annoying.
but I don't know, some people are just against how other people think too. It's like it's basically them against you. You know, you could be trying to help them, and they don't want. It's like their ego won't allow you to, you know, direct them. You know what I mean? It's like
I
I don't
love
want
the
to be.
amnesia.
I don't want to, huh?
I said I love the amnesia. Like when
Yeah.
it comes out in an article or on the news, and you're like, "Remember, I was telling you," and oh, you never told
No,
me
I
that.
don't remember. I don't remember none of it. None of it.
You never told me that. And it's
You never
like,
said
okay,
nothing
like
like that.
yeah,
You ain't never said that. You ain't
yeah,
never
Yeah,
said.
yeah.
that shit
Yeah, that's
crazy.
just like
But
that job.
you
My
know,
job like that.
we'll watch it
You
unfold.
man,
Yeah, we'll watch it unfold. I mean, but like I said, there's many articles about,
somebody messing with this thing, man. I
you
think they're
know,
messing with us.
huh?
I
But
think
yeah,
they
there are many
messing with us,
articles.
man.
Nah, like I said, you know, we're in a stage right now where a lot of shit that has been built up is gonna crumble faster than you think. Um, but this is the process, and in other words, when you have the universe to filter and sift through the population of the planet, some people are gonna get caught up in that sifting process, and some are not. So I just tell people, look, be mindful and figure out what your position is and play it. Whatever that is, has nothing to do with me. You know, if we share in a particular vibration, then naturally people will just they'll find each other and you know share in each other's space. But other than that, yeah, we're in a cleansing. The apocalypse means to reveal, so we're in the great revealing. But anyway, let's get into our topic. We're not gonna stay too long today. Ain't gonna keep everybody too long tonight. But let's get in our topic. So, is gender a choice?
Now,
She said no. I'm gonna start it off by saying this. I think there is an agenda to undermine. I'm gonna just speak for this country because I really don't know too much what's going on in other countries. But in this country, there's definitely a effort to undermine strong, stable womanhood or manhood. And with that
Right.
being said, I think that they're creating these gray areas where people think it's freedom, right? And
the
freedom is
facade.
the freedom is it's a weird type of freedom. Sometimes people say too much freedom is bad, and I think allowing a child to choose what they want to be far as their gender is concerned, when naturally you can see how the child was born if they're male or female and you raise them accordingly. To leave that up to a kid is the weirdest shit to me, simply because you got little girls who grow up around their brothers, right? And they're a little tomboyish. That don't mean they're gonna be boy girls when they grow up. They will still be productive women. Identify as a woman. I'm a woman. I got all the equipment to be a woman. I have the DNA to be a woman. So with that being said, I think as parents, we follow suit with the natural laws of nature. Man is on some funky shit with just blurring the lines. And I think that's giving rise to a very when you destabilize a country, you don't know what the fuck is what. Like if you go to a country like China, China's communist. China pretty much tell their citizens what the fuck to do, what they can't do, blah blah blah. Well, and on a level of efficiency, I get it, but to a level of because when you have a country who's on one accord, they just powerful as fuck when they train. Because if you look at like the way the Chinese do things, they're so efficient at what they do. This is why it's such a powerhouse. When you take a country and you got boys wanting to be girls, girls wanting to be boys, you got all types of illicit drugs and shit. You got the music is fucked up and funky. The food is fucked up and funky. Um, you just got so much subculture that it ruins the fabrics of the country to the point where they're not as strong. If you ever want to invade they shit, you can come in and fuck them up because
Right.
where are the men? Oh, the women want to be men. They're girls.
Right.
Yeah.
Shit's crazy.
That's how you
But
more power. That's how you more power though. You weaken the blood.
yeah, so that, that's my segue into the conversation. Do you guys think gender is a choice?
No,
No.
no,
Well,
no, and no. Like
I got
I
go
I
ahead.
am pro-choice, whatever, you know. However, you are born male or female. There's no, I mean, all of that is a facade just to create confusion so that, like because if you don't like the kids growing up, it's no, no, that's
Well,
it. That's just no.
hmm,
If whatever you decide later, if you want to be, woman, man, whatever the case is, then that's a choice for later. But what you're born as is what you are.
Yeah. And I think
You
parents have a natural responsibility to raise the child because the child can't make that decision for them. You have to rear them based on, you know, how they were presented to the world. That's our
right.
responsibility.
Now the
So,
direction you go in the process of growing up and becoming, preteen, teenager, adult, whatever, then that's a different story. But you're born as what you're born as. Like,
yeah.
I don't care if you got titties and, or shaved your head bald or whatever. You are what you are. Like, ultimately, you're born a certain way. You are what you are until, you do whatever else and want to be called whatever and change. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
there is no,
well,
I could
this is
see
what
if
we
they
got
could
to
tell you
understand.
to pick apart or pick, when you're born, like, oh, pick which gender you want, or, something like, but this is not a pick and choose. It's like you're born one way or the other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to think
Let me
about this
tell.
though. Go
Go on
ahead.
with
Keep
it.
talking.
Ah,
Like, see, the thing with the choice is depends on how you look at it. I don't agree with it either. But this is what you got to think about. This world is fabricated. The only real thing that we really need to stick to is being a man and being a woman. Our behavior and what we do outside of that, it doesn't matter because a woman's job is to bear kids, and a man's job is to deliver that seed to the woman to bear the kids. That's like really our true responsibility. But the choices and recreational stuff and all that stuff, I believe we do what we want to do. But you always play that part, man and woman. But anything outside of that is basically choice, like how how you want to move. But for them to be as parents, I don't know how far what they really mean by that. But
they're
she
basically
can,
saying they're basically
if she,
saying they're just gonna have the kid and they're not gonna then you know how people say, oh, it's a boy, and you buy boy clothes, um you do boy shit, you say, you stand up and pee, blah blah blah. You're prepping the seed to be a male child as it
Right.
grows. They're saying they're not going to do that. They're going to allow the child to just be a child, which is weird because, like, damn, do you put boy clothes on? Do you put girl clothes on? I'm tripping. Like, what the fuck? How
Well,
you going to
Yeah,
do that?
that's more
I
confusion.
think they
Like the only way I
but
could
you know what
understand that is if
though?
Go-
you were born a hermaphrodite.
yeah, yeah.
That's
That
the
does
only way
happen.
I could understand that. Like, okay, you know what? We're gonna let them choose or something like that. Whatever.
No,
Even with that, even with that, because
you can't control that though. I mean, they really can't control that child from not being a man because, like you said, the clothes is different. If you got that, and it's like everything is different. So
I mean,
automatically, if they're gonna let that child make that choice, that child most likely is gonna be a man. It's gonna
yeah.
fit out to be a man because unless they buy her, buying panties, or unless they buy her a jock strap. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Stuff like that.
it's weird when you look at, like, I know as far as infants and babies, they got onesies and things like that, but at some point there are no gender neutral clothes.
no,
Yeah, that's what I said. So you really
I,
can't unless you
I
try to have them be something else.
but I wouldn't be surprised if they start making shit like that. We probably just gave them the whole idea. You're gonna see gender neutral clothes next week. That's crazy.
no,
Somebody
somebody's probably already on
let
that.
me see. Somebody in the chat had
Oh,
a
they already
comment.
doing it with the clothes because I buy a lot of clothes. Most clothes go both ways now, anyway.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
somebody's
they
already
are
on that.
unisex. They call them unisex, right? Is it
But
is it called
but
is
but
unisex?
see that but see you're at a stage in your evolution where you can choose and you're already developed.
Right.
When a baby is developing, how do you stay neutral?
Think about this.
How you have a blank
Neutral.
baby?
Yeah, but you can't. But you know what you're saying? The unisex is a form of being like universal, if you think about it, because in this time, clothing again is starting to be for a man and woman. And this is the part. This is what I'm trying to say. You
But
know
that's for a
everything is
grown up. That's for a grown
being
up. I'm
cheap,
talking about
right?
a baby. I'm talking about a
Yeah, no,
baby
and I'm
though.
just saying. But even yeah, no, I'm saying even with a baby, I'm pretty sure it's gonna follow, and with the clothing, even with the young ones too. Because think about it, the cheaper they get with money, the more greedy people get with money, the less they can. Instead of making women clothes and men clothes, let's just make for both. They're getting so cheap that they're messing people up mentally too. So it's a part of cheap product too, or just trying to save money. It's like basically this all falls into money. Everything falls into money, like you know what I mean. Like so, if it ain't if it don't what they say.
I think it's bigger than money.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Way bigger than money. But I'm just saying, but if it don't make money, it don't make sense, right? But if you losing money, it really don't make sense. They found a way, just like with the bottles, with glass bottles and stuff. Okay, we're gonna go to plastic. We're gonna make that. You know what I mean? It's like they go to the cheapest form for to save more money.
Okay.
They'll water down stuff. So if you can make a pair of boots that men and women wear, you don't have to waste your time making women boots and men boots separately. You just make one boot. This is how cheap they get with everything. It's like it's more a part of that too. It's about
I
being
mean,
cheap.
that's. I mean, that's a
Mentally,
viable argument. You could put that out there.
no, I'm
I
saying I'm
think
not
this
saying that
whole
this.
phenomenon is bigger than that. I'm gonna go to the chat. Somebody made a very good statement in the chat. I don't know who it is, but thanks for tuning in anyway. It says, no, I think some parents allow children to choose in order to get ahead of the story so it won't be a shock to others later if it so happens that the child chooses a different gender. I would agree with this statement to a degree because I think as a child gets, that age where, because I've seen kids, like 8, 9, 10. It could be a boy and he has like a lot of feminine ways, and you thinking to yourself, yeah, he might turn out to be gay. Just observing his mannerisms, right? This statement would apply when parents have observed their child for so long. Well, I ain't even gonna say for so long, but when it gets to a certain point where you can definitively define that certain characteristics and certain mannerisms of your child is opposite of their gender, then I can see a parent at that point getting in front of this thing to allow that to happen. So there's not a big shock to everybody else if the child chooses a different path. But the bottom line is, if you look at it from infant up until, when do we start developing our personality of, I like my hair, I like this is my color, I like to do this. Like, what age is that? Like 5?
I don't know what
Now,
age
yeah,
that is. No,
yeah, because you was looking at
When we get into our imagination and caring about
yeah,
how we
maybe
how
look
we look
about
and shit like that. What is that,
maybe about
5?
5.
presentation.
Yeah, yeah, I would say
Okay,
5.
so from birth up until 5, you got a time frame where a kid is not even concerned with none of that shit. You got an X amount of damn near a whole year where it's just, I want to eat shit, sleep,
Right.
and gnaw on some shit, and dribble and slobber. They. So the point I'm making is the statement that the person in the chat put up. This is the true statement, but this is in my opinion, this statement only applies at a certain point. Is what I'm saying. At a certain point,
Right.
you can get in front of this thing to have some level of I guess damage control. But
Because a
personally,
newborn, like how
You
going back
can't
to
teach
how
a
you
kid to
dress,
do but
going back to how you address the newborn. Okay, they had certain colors that you would put on a child, because remember back in the day, they didn't have like gender reveals and all of that stuff. So a lot of times you knew what the baby was when the baby was born. So you would get like a certain color, like a
yeah,
greenish, whatever type of color, just to, you know. However, like I'm so sorry.
oh, there
Moving
you go.
forward, like how would you dress this kid?
that was the
Once
question.
they start going to preschool and stuff like that, what are you going to put them in a dress
Yeah, that was
or
the
just
question.
That's the problem. That's what you're talking about. See what I'm saying? That's the parents trying to make stuff and trying to create something right there. That's
Yeah, let
them
me.
trying to create the narrative. That's what they trying to do. Because actually, if you just been a parent and just if it's a boy, you're gonna do boy stuff. You're gonna give boy clothes,
Exactly.
boy
That
this
was
and that.
yeah.
So,
That was the
so,
point. That's
so
the point I
what
was
are you
making.
trying? What you gonna dress them in a dress one morning and then see which one the kid like you know what I mean, like stuff like that. Are you trying to change their nature? You know what I mean? That's the big question. Are you trying to change the nature instead of it being choice? Because kids don't have choices when they're young. They you
Exactly.
know,
They
they
you
basically go
right.
on and they go on instinctive. So
You
whatever you give them, it's a part of their lifestyle. So if
right.
you're gonna put the little boy in a dress, then he gonna be a boy in a dress. You're gonna wear a dress and you're gonna like those kind of things because that's what he's been wearing since he was a baby. He's used to it and he used to doing this with all kinds of stuff. So
And then
that's
either
you.
way,
You trying to create
either
the
way
narrative.
you are directing which way.
Yeah. So there ain't no choice for the kids still.
There really is no choice because either way, like based on how you dress the kid, you're literally like if you put the little boy in the dress, he's gonna think that being in a dress is normal and that you're.
yeah
I
yeah.
mean, you know what I'm saying? Like so, either way, you're gearing. I just
Yeah.
feel like
It's
you
nothing,
have
nothing
a
to do with the
child
kids. It's like you said, it's agenda.
born
Go ahead.
Yeah.
born female or male. You it is what it is. You're either male or you're female. And as they
Yeah.
get older and want to, let's say they are 5 and they want to wear a skirt or a dress or something like that, like, depending on the parent or, whoever's raising the child, then that's your decision on whether you want to let them be expressive or free, whatever have you. But
But
as
what is
a
expressive and
newborn,
free though? Like that doesn't even exist for a kid anyway. That
no,
doesn't
it
even
doesn't.
exist.
But
You're
for some
actually in control.
people, but for
That's
some
our
households
responsibility.
and for some people it's kind of like they
So,
depending on the household, like if the kid wants to wear a skirt and you feel like that's.
But here's the thing. Let me read this quote. Let me read this statement. Somebody made in the chat. It said it's impossible to be neutral because it takes much thought to speak to a child or automatically do things daily that comes naturally according to what the child gender is. That's 100%
Exactly.
true.
Mhm.
So the thing is, at some point, regardless of if Jeezy and Jeannie wants to have the kid be neutral or whatever, at some point you're gonna have to do something as a parent that's going to be gender specific.
Exactly. You're gonna have to
Something,
choose.
something.
Right.
What I mean, you're gonna. It's a thin line. I mean, if you just that's just like dressing your kid up since they're born up until that identifying and keep in mind kids develop their identification from their parents on how to do
Exactly.
things. So if you watch dad being a certain way, you watch mom being a certain way, child naturally is going to pick those things up, male or female, whether you teach them that or not.
Or not. Exactly.
And if you don't teach them, this is where their friends come in. This is where cartoons come in. This is where shows come in. This is where programming comes in. And now it's going to dictate to your child how they should be.
They're gonna learn from
Mhm.
somewhere.
They're going to learn it from somewhere.
So
So
guess what?
leaving them open is just goofy to me. You leaving them open
It makes no
for
sense,
whatever.
right? Dre, it makes no sense.
It don't.
You know what though? It's basically saying that there's a narrative here and there's an agenda here, and
Exactly.
that's basically what it's just basically telling you. Because what you're saying and what they're saying, like just to hear somebody say that, and then when you put it all down, like, what are you trying to do? Because, you know what I mean? Like just what are you trying to do, bro? Just what are you trying to do? You know what I mean? Because it makes no sense. What the fuck you saying? Somebody need to be slapped so fucking hard for saying some shit like that, bro. Never talk again. Slap him with a metal plate or something, man. Brass knuckles, whatever. Extension. You know what I
Brass
mean? For real,
knuckles.
man. Because
Yeah.
it makes no sense now. Be like you said, because a child only gonna follow what their parents do. So if you give them freedom, like what kind of freedom can they possibly have to decide if they want to be a man or woman anyway? Unless
Yes.
y'all gonna do it. Unless you're gonna dress the front, you're gonna put it. Unless you're gonna mold them into what y'all want it to be. Y'all gonna mold that kid into being a transsexual, whatever the hell y'all trying to raise here, whatever y'all trying to do, what they telling y'all to do.
Yeah, that would be something that the parents would have to do because, you know, either way it go, you're gonna have to set some sort of standard. Whether the shit
Yeah.
kids can't. It's agenda, and here's why I say it's agenda because if you look at Jeezy, gangster rapper, guns, drugs, cocaine, all this gangster shit, right? And his old lady, what show was she on?
The talk or the
No, it's
real,
the real.
the real. Yeah.
And a lot of women watch the real. I mean, this show is kind of cool. I've seen the shit before. It's not too, the only thing I don't like about the real, every dude that they bring on there, if he's not an established actor that we know, every dude they bring on there is a little flimsy. The dude selling the shit flimsy. The dude on the little promoting the products, he flimsy. So I don't. That's an agenda. That's an agenda. They make sure they have a flimsy guy come on. Nobody's
Yeah.
alpha. Nobody's a real dude.
Yeah.
But anyway, so my thing is this: it has to be agenda because you take a dude that's supposed to be a gangster rapper, street dude, blah blah blah, done did all this shit in the street. You would think he would bring to the table a level of masculinity
Manhood. Manhood. Yeah. Yeah.
that to say, hey, yo, this is my firstborn, whatever, and this is how it's gonna go. And I honestly believe there's probably some money involved. I could be wrong. This is just my opinion. But to push that agenda, the shit looks weird to me, especially coming from him. And I know when you get with your new lady and all that, you want to conform a little bit and make everybody happy. And she's Asian, right? And she bad. But here's the thing. If you know anything about the Asian community, they're very cultural. There's nothing in Asia culture where they're going to raise a child gender neutral. They don't play that
That
shit.
it doesn't even exist, dog. That whole thing, yo, that whole concept, gender neutral, dog, is something
They
they
don't
making.
play
They're
that.
putting together.
Yeah,
They're
they
making
don't
that
play
right
that.
now as we speak. As we speak, we're developing this new gender neutral shit. This is all fucking been orchestrated by everybody in the world, gender neutral, because this is something that's purposed. You know what I mean? So
You know how many parents after that probably just kind of like, you know what, gender neutral.
yeah,
We're not giving this
yeah,
kid a.
but they don't even know how to do it. They don't even know how to do it. What they
They
gonna do? Like I
planted the
said, you got
seed.
yeah,
They planted
yeah.
the seed
But
with
see, the
that
thing
one.
is, what's so good? No. Yeah. But here's another thing. Like I said, everything is being man and woman. So if you're raising your child, this is a new thing. This ain't even. This is no longer an idea. This was already developed a long time ago. That child is coming to a world that's gender neutral. I mean, the products, the clothes, the everything is. You know what? We might be wrong because men clothes and women clothes are really not too much different today. So therefore, the kid might have an issue because everything is basically unisex. Whatever. Like I said, I'm telling you, when I'm shopping at everything, say unisex. Boots, it can be men or women
But
can wear.
by the time the kid gets to an age to know
But
what.
everything is like, you know what I'm saying? But everything is developed to them to have that choice now, because everything is going both ways. Their sex is the only thing that determine them to me in the future as being a man or a woman, because
Oh,
the way the
I
world
get
is
what you're
being,
saying a little bit.
no, the the way the world is being developed, everything is for both now. Gender, because think about it, women now work like men and women are on an equal basis. So therefore, the only difference is what I got between my legs and what you got in between your legs. But the
So what you're
behavior,
saying is you may not even have to say, "Oh, I'm female" or "I'm male" or whatever have you, because everything is
exactly,
kind of
because it's all unisex. Everything
yeah.
is all unisex. Everything a man can wear, a woman can wear now. And then they didn't, like you said, like the women are doing manly things now. So therefore, you pretty much can put a kid in that kind of where you want to go, because all the clothes go both ways. Everything go both ways now, so it's not like a one way track here anymore. They
So
created another
it's kind
track.
of like,
They
which
put
way do you want to go?
together.
Woman, man,
Yeah.
or just
But
no specific?
I still see that as a decision that's way down the road for a kid.
Oh yeah. That's for an older person to make that decision, like which way they want to go. But I'm just saying, but it's opening the windows to really make them honestly. It
So
go both ways. It's
so
going
really
both
what you
ways,
what
dog. I'm sorry, they're not gonna choose one way or the other. They're going both ways. That's
so
what
really
that looked like to me.
so really what you're saying, the infrastructure is being set up for it when they
Yeah,
get there. But
yeah,
it's still a dilemma from the
yeah,
birth of the child
From
up
the birth
until that
to,
age
yeah.
of, you start making that observation.
yeah.
Parent going man, I don't see no way around it really, because you'll have to dress your kid in uh I'm just using my imagination here. Just some black shit. Like just some very plain shit. Like
What about
you
like a
don't do the
first
girl's
dance?
hair. Huh? You
What
can't
about
do her
like a
hair.
first dance or something like that? Like in kindergarten, like, or first grade, your first kindergarten dance, or like, what do
I
you
don't even
wear?
want to
What are you
see it.
gonna wear?
I,
What
no,
do
no,
you
I
dress the
told you
kid as?
everything goes both ways now. Everything is both ways now. That's what I'm trying to tell
But
you.
the parent
There's
but the
gonna be
parent would still have to make that decision to make the kid wear some shit, cuz listen,
no.
a kid
See,
is
y'all
only
going.
going to
Are you gonna wear tuxedo shoes? Or are you gonna wear shoes with pink bows, or
No, no. This is what I'm trying to say.
or
This is
just
what
a
I'm trying to say.
basic? I don't
There
think they
is
have that for
product.
kids yet.
You know what I'm saying? But there is product that still combines both together. Get the woman stuff and the man stuff. There's product that's being evolved with the new generation. That product is the unisex, is the a man and can wear women, like the clothes are the same. So the other
not
stuff,
in kindergarten.
whatever.
Not for
No,
kindergarten though.
Not in kindergarten, buddy.
what I'm saying. Well, kindergarten. Well, I don't know how they do that kindergarten, but I'm just saying.
They
But for
can't.
what we see,
They
no,
can't.
but it might be there now though. We don't know because they touching every level and category. We don't know what's going to be
That's true.
available. If you're having a kid right now, because they're bringing a kid into that kind of world. The world has changed to that world. It's no longer a man different. I mean, physically, sexually, yes, but the attitude and the mentality that
Identifying.
yeah, the identified thing is now one track thing. So this is the only thing you're gonna be really doing with this is probably having sex with men, but it'll make it a little confusing because your ideas and like the thing that you man and woman now are both involved. So it's like I think the kid is already being brought in a world like that. It doesn't even have to have their parents don't have nothing to do with that anyway anymore. I believe that from kindergarten they keep coming up with new stuff. Everything I'm telling you, dog, everything is boy girl now. You got girl stuff and you got boy stuff, but the track has a boy girl now.
The minute you put some bows in her hair or barrettes or anything in her hair, she's gonna see other girls with that, and she's gonna drift towards the girl stuff. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah, but if you do that, but see, here's the thing.
Or so you pull it back and put it in one ponytail or something.
Still, the main track gives them the option. They gives them the option to go here or there, because the main track starts with both now. The main track where, like I said, the same clothes can fit is now for women and men. It attracts to which way they want to go. It's not like it's like you could go that path, and whichever one you slowly like more, that's the path you probably go, or you might just want to have both. And now here's the problem. That's where it comes at. You're gonna want to have both. You're gonna want to be both if you're raised in that kind of environment. If everything is damn near on the same level and on equal levels like that, you're pretty much gonna want to be what you call it? That you go both ways. What you call that? What do they call that? When you go both ways, when you mess with men and women, what you call that?
Oh,
bisexual.
Yeah, bi. It's developing you into more of a bi because all the products, everything, the hair products and everything, no longer you don't have men or women. You got a hair product for men and women. So it's basically putting you in a path of playing both parts. So
yeah, I believe that's here. Yeah. That infrastructure is already here.
Yeah, but for the kids now, but I'm saying, but for a new kid to be born in it, they pretty much introduced to that world now. It's like not as a kid you're being introduced to this one path, to this
they're pretty much planting the seeds in the parents' heads so that they can be
so they try to make you adjust to it. You know what I mean?
Usher it in that direction.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think the parents play a big part in all this shit. It's not the kid. The parents play a big part.
No, it's not the kid at all. It's what you set in front of them that's gonna kind of alter their hormones, because now you're playing both parts and you don't see one side being wrong and the other side being right. You see what they do. You see what I mean. You just basically have these tools right here to procreate whatever they create kids. But the way you look at life, they're showing you that you can be with both, or you can go to this side, or it's all good. Nobody's gonna
options.
Hate you.
And it's funny because I said that about this country. I said what weakens a country the most is when you could take the fabrics of their society and fracture it in so many different splinters where they can't be cohesive. Everybody is splintered off, and all of this other freedom. I can do what I want to do, and nobody's on one accord. You can be easily infiltrated like that. Let me read this comment from I don't know who this is, but I appreciate them being in the chat. It says, plain devil's advocate, they could dress the kid in cultural clothes that both men and women wear, like skirts, for example. The artist,
the men was showing that the men were wearing skirts, like the athletes and stuff. So they putting it all together, dog, into one. So they, you know what I mean? They already making you a bisexual, dog. They already training you from a kid to be bisexual.
Yeah. Let me read this other comment. He said, also, I think it's kind of mental child abuse to let a child choose because it's such a heavy thought process. A child is not equipped or mentally developed to make that type of decision. And that's what I was saying. So,
But the
parent,
clothes will make that decision for them because the clothes is going to make them
uh,
want to go both ways. The lifestyle. Look, the women are boxing, women are wrestling, women are doing everything that men do now, and men are
but you
doing
got some
everything
women
that
who
women do now.
you got some women who do that and still be with a dude and have kids and a family
No,
and the whole
no,
nine.
but those, no, no. I'm talking about. See, but that's when you had a choice. The way the
It's
world is
always a
now, that
choice.
you be.
It is
This
always
is
a
what I'm
choice.
trying to say, Frank. This is
But
what I'm trying to
I
say.
get what
In
I get
that
what you're
world,
trying to say.
you can see the two sides, but in this world, for a youngling to be born now, those two sides is
You
kind of,
can't make the distinction. It's one.
yeah, those two sides is together now. So it's like you can mess with two women and have one man, or you can mess with, you can have sex with two women and have sex with two men, and nobody cares. That's like that's what they're developing. They're developing, like they said, that is a message. That's not even an
That's the
upbringing.
new
What
narrative.
but what Jay Jeezy and them doing is a message, a narrative. What if she wants to? They're just telling you what it is, basically. If you just put it all together, they just telling you what the world is right now. What
He
your
said,
kid is
could
gonna see. Huh? I
nah
just want to say one
in the
thing.
chat. He said, pan. It could be pansexual. I never even heard of no pansexual shit.
It's
I
all
have
stupid.
heard
For
of
the
him.
person who's in the chat that put that, could you explain what pansexual is? I've heard it. I just don't know the definition.
I just
Um,
want to say something real quick. These are walnuts, and guess how old they are? They're like 2 years. These are like 2 years old, dog. These
what
walnuts, and
is
they still
that?
taste.
That's
No, I'm
TMI.
saying,
DCR. Your
no, I'm
nuts are
saying,
old, B.
huh?
I said
two
your
years
nuts
old,
are
dog.
old. Pause.
2 years old, dog, and they still taste good. These are organic. These are organic walnuts, dog. two
I
years
feel
old, and they
you.
still taste like walnuts.
I feel you on that. Yeah. Back to the chat. Longtime friend Jamila Murray. She's in the chat, and I think that might be her with the who's putting forth the questions and things, because it don't really have a what's the name on it. But it says pansexual, a person who doesn't date by gender. They do not see gender. That's confusing.
No, but that's
Yeah.
telling you what they were telling you. That's actually the same thing that Jeezy and them is actually they presenting it in a certain way where, and
But
that's
let
what
me
the
read.
world is
Let
showing you
me
too.
and I like to give a special shout out to Jamila for checking out the show and being a part of the whole thing. We go way back. This is one of my exes. We like cool. I'm glad she's on the show. I appreciate that. But when you look at it, it says a person who doesn't date by gender. Pause right there. They do not see gender. How could you date a person and you don't see gender?
Yeah, that's so confusing to me.
But that's the world that you're being brought in because both
Yeah.
genders are now working on the same. They're both working on the same track now. That's what I'm saying. Like everything is unisex. Everything is all together now. Everything is together. So you're gonna see the world different if you're raised in that world now. If from a baby to seeing how things are, you're gonna see both sides. Mentally, you're gonna look at both sides as in certain ways that we can never understand, and that's the scary part because
And
the kids that's
I guess
uh,
I guess it's confusing because we were raised the way we were raised. Like
right. See,
it's a
we was
boy,
raised in,
it's a girl,
right,
so I guess
and theirs is both. Theirs is both.
confusing.
They're saying, they wear the same clothes now. Everything wear the same now. Everything's the same. So mentally, your mind is gonna kind of be accepting both sides because you're living kind of in the same, like you say, no gender, and having them both together eliminates the difference from each side except the sexual part. You know what I mean? So
Bananas.
Yeah, Facebook user said Janelle Monae is a pansexual. Now she makes good music. The thing is, if you're pansexual and you're a female and you don't see gender, I'm trying to wrap my mind around this, because if she wants to deal with a person that is obviously a male, you don't see that he's a male.
it's not that. No, that's not what they mean. When you don't see gender, meaning is you don't see that there's one way. You know what I mean? Like I can mess with you and I can mess with you. That's basically what that's basically saying. Like you clearly could see a man and a woman, but you can actually be with both of them. You know what I mean? You can do what you want to do. You're not just I can't be with a woman. That's basically what that's telling you is like you basically accepting both genders, so you don't see no gender. So you taking both in as partners or whatever you want to do. That's the development. That's basically what that's saying. There's different
But wouldn't that
to
be
this and that.
bi?
Huh? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just another word. I don't know, another word for it.
Wouldn't it be
But
bi?
the thing
Wouldn't
is,
that be like
She said
no,
that's
no,
one of the
no.
reasons why she dresses that way. If you ever seen Janelle Monáe, she always wear this tuxedo, but
Right.
she dresses like a boy, but she's clearly a beautiful sister.
Yeah,
But she dresses like a man.
right.
So
so that's a choice?
I
And
guess I
is it,
guess it. I'm trying to figure this out.
why
If
doesn't
we
she ever
look at
wear a
her,
skirt?
I I don't know, but if we look at her dressed like a man, but she's clearly a female, we shouldn't see her gender. We shouldn't label her gender. I don't know. It's fucking with my
No, no,
head.
no, no. You're right. You're right. You're right. No, it's not labeling her gender. It's the point that me and you as a man, I'm not looking to date a man or have anything to do with a man. But this new state of mind that's being developed with the new world is looking at I can have a relationship with this man physically, and I can have a relationship with this woman. So I'm not separating myself within what
I
gender I should
mean,
mess with. I see no gender. That's
Does she
basically what that's.
identify as a female or a male? And
I
if it
don't.
No, no, it
is,
doesn't matter. It
I
doesn't
don't. I
matter.
don't. I don't think so.
if
I
it
don't know.
so
I
if
don't
it
know that
doesn't
part.
matter, why not choose like why not?
She
Maybe it's
does
what she's
both.
comfortable in.
I think I've seen her dressed like a female before. So I guess she
Oh,
does both.
okay,
So
okay.
with
So
her
if she
doing
does
Doesn't matter.
both,
both,
then I
Just like
guess okay.
then
it
I
doesn't
think
matter, man.
you can't box her. You can't. I guess you cannot put her in a category.
Right, right. That's what
And
I was
it's
But
trying to
you're
say.
not
Like if
putting
she's
her in
always
a
in
category. It's
tuxedos,
just the way the
then
state of your mind is. It's just state of mind. It's not really a category thing. It's just that the acceptance of being sexually involved with your opposite. I mean, with your same, and that's all. Is just accepted. It's more like
you wanted
accepted.
to say opposite, but
No,
but
I mean, I'm not talking about. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like what they say is like gender, whatever they say, like don't see no gender. Basically, is like you're accept this one as a partner and that one as a partner too. That's basically what this is saying. It's not saying that you don't know what gender is gender, but the
is
state of mind
somebody's phone ringing?
is mine. I'll be right back.
But yeah, she also put, I don't know, well, I guess I'm assuming it's still Jamila, but it says it's dating by connection and spirit, pansexual. So I guess if you meet someone, which is weird to me, I'm just my opinion, if you meet someone and you connect with them uh spiritually, like you vibing with them, right? You feeling them, but you can't really identify their gender, if it's male or female, but you're into their being. And but for me, let's well, I guess that is a thing for some people, because I can't put myself in the shoes of a person who's pansexual,
and
because
that's what I was
to put
thinking to
myself in the
myself.
shoes of a person who's pansexual and I meet somebody and I connect with them spiritually in their vibe, and I'm feeling all of that, right? But at the same time, when you get past all that, I might think it's a woman when it's a dude. But I've connected with a dude spiritually. Does that mean I'm anyway? But yeah.
Yeah, that's.
But yeah. I for just for the record, I am pro-choice on a lot of things, but I also feel like nature has its way, and I submit to that, and I play my part. I think our civilization as we know it today is going to reap the benefits of us straying. That's just, that's what the elders say. The more we stray away from the natural order of things, there has to be a repercussion down the road. What those
Right.
repercussions are, I don't know. The bottom line is, I feel like free will is a motherfucker. because you got free will to do whatever you want to do. But free will comes with it's based on cause and effect also. So it's going to produce something, whether it's pleasurable or painful, but you got
Right.
to deal with whatever it produces. I have to be responsible for what my cause and effect and my free will produces for me. But I am pro-choice, which is being like pro-free will, and that's something you got from the creative forces to be able to choose and do what the fuck you want to do. But I think we've blurred the lines. But that's just my opinion. I think as we move further deeper into the age of Aquarius, I do feel like a lot of things will be broken down, and new things will come about that'll be hard for us to digest because it's gonna go against the grain of some of the shit that we're used to. But they're just certain things that for my programming now and and when I say our evolution now, where we are now, and you just try to project yourself mentally 2-3 generations down the road, who's to say that the universe won't produce a new species or a new way of living or thinking on the planet? We don't know that. We don't know if all of this is leading us somewhere. All I know is where we are now, we got a blueprint to follow. But I don't think the universe has room. Well, I know for a fact there are no mistakes in the universe. And with that being said, let's just see where the universe is leading us, because it's definitely leading us somewhere, like for real. So, could y'all hear me?
And it's
Oh,
so it's oh yeah. I was processing. Um I think because it's always been male female, so it's just kind of hard to, that's how we were like programmed, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's kind of hard to even think of, it's confusing, and it's hard to understand, like, for me, even connecting with a person spiritually, like, if you are not male, I'm not I don't I can't see myself connecting with you spiritually, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just, yeah, it's a totally different
and
generation
we might be old programs for a paradigm that is leaving and a new paradigm is coming, and the universe is obviously moving around to create space for
for that.
a new way. I'm not here to judge that. We have to submit to that.
Right.
But we'll see. Look at Prince. I was watching Purple Rain today at the barbershop, and
Hmm.
Prince was, he was like a whole female. But chicks loved him, and he loved chicks.
Right.
And we didn't
Right.
look at Prince like, he's a punk and all this other stuff. No. Prince was cool as hell
He was
with
cool,
his
yeah.
high heels on and his blouse and all that shit.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
chicks loved him, and he loved chicks. I can't hear Pot. What's going
Yeah.
on? Oh, let me see
I
something.
think
No, I can't hear him.
and
You're muted.
Yo, can you hear me?
oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh shit, man! I've been talking all that time. Y'all couldn't hear me.
Nah.
Get the fuck out of here, dog.
We didn't hear
What was
nothing.
you saying?
I was saying a lot of stuff, dog. No, but what I'm saying is like you gotta think about it, man. When you say the word universe, you know what? Whenever you try to make a change, it's gonna be struggle to make a change. That's the part where you talk about. There's always gonna be a repercussion. There's always struggle to get to the next level. Wherever we want to create, or whatever we're trying to do, there's always gonna be a process, and the process is a struggle. But once the process is finished, you got the new product. You got the new, you know what I mean? You got the whole new platform. So what's going on today is wrong from our nature, from how we were
Yeah,
raised and everything else.
yeah.
But
That's what I was
but
trying
for
to
the
say.
new but for them, what's coming up in their world, they're creating a whole different being and a whole different development in the universe, again, it has no problem with that. It
No,
just
it
the
doesn't.
problem is it's like you're gonna go through a development. We don't know what we're gonna end up. We might have a dingling in a coochie hole. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, but like you know what I mean? Like it might come out because you think about it. Back in the day, they said we had that anyway, right? How was
Yeah,
that? You know what? Actually, what did we see? We need to get far back into our nature before before our sex. How was our sex? Because most likely it probably was like that to even get to the point where it got today. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like,
it was a de-evolution because going back when you look at before we got trapped really into dense matter as we call bodies, we didn't reproduce sexually. As our bodies became more denser and more human and more grounded in this dimension, then we became more human. And as we became more human, then we reproduced, as we call sexually today. But there was a time spiritually as etheric or energetic beings, we wasn't having sex, two etheric beings having sex and producing an etheric child. No, that this wasn't
right,
going down.
it
But
had to be a singular, right?
that was a de-evolution of spirit into matter. So in order for spirit to be grounded in matter that we have today, it had to de-evolve because being here is a de-evolution. That's why when we die, we give up the de-evolution, which is our physical bodies, and then we go to a higher evolution, which means you evolve higher or vibrate higher in what we classify as the spirit realm. So being in a body is a de-evolution. That's why, we fart and itch and cut ourselves and, we got to wash it and bathe it and shave it down because it's growing hair and all of this shit.
Sounds pretty
This is
dirty, man. I'm mad at a truck driver. But go ahead.
so this is what the physical body goes through in physical form. It's a de-evolution of spirit. Spirit don't have to do none of this shit. So
Right.
but I get what you're saying, and I was saying the same thing. We're evolving back more to spirit as we move deeper into the age of Aquarius. So I don't know where this is taking us. You
Who's to
know,
say
Right.
that we have? Who's to say that we are? This sounds crazy to me, but who's to say that we have it right? Like,
Exactly.
we
you
have
know
it
what I'm
Exactly.
right
Like, I'm
saying?
for
just
we
Like,
have it we have it right for our
our
current
system.
for
state.
our, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we
There really
debating
is
this
no
shit.
right or wrong.
But
There really is no right or wrong there.
if I
It's
mean
just how it is.
realistically, if we're going back from which we came, then the whole sexual thing, the lines have to be blurred. And going
Right.
back to a more spiritual, more, you know. But like I
That may
said,
be
this
a
is and
reincarnation of
the
something
and
greater.
the,
Maybe a
and the only
reincarnation.
reason I'm making this statement is based on past history.
right,
That's the only reason why I'm making that statement because I know where we
right.
devolved from. And if we're going back to a pristine, because the universe works in cycles. So if our beginning is our end and our end is going back to our beginning, then it makes sense to say this shit and how we relate has to be broken down to give birth to some new shit. And it's
Right.
not really new. It's just that we're going back to a more pristine state where the lines will be blurred. You don't know what the fuck is what because
And
it's all energy.
plus we're more advanced too. Plus we're more
Yeah.
advanced. So if you think about it, now that we're more advanced, we're gonna develop something even more greater. You know what I mean? Like it's just, but like I said, it's chaos. That whole transformation is gonna be chaos. It's gonna
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
chaos. It's gonna be hate, confusion, and all kinds of stuff. But for this, not saying that this is the right change, but it's just gonna do what it do. It's a machine. It's a machine that takes information and evolves that information. No matter what kind of information that's being put in, it's gonna scope that information. So it's not a right or wrong. the universe is gonna scope the information and manifest it in something else. That's basically what it's gonna do. It don't care if it's right, wrong, or what was right back in the day, or what is that. No, it's gonna take those particles and transform it to something. And the people who doing this stuff know exactly what the fuck they doing.
Yeah. On that note, I think we're gonna conclude. It was a great discussion. I think all in all, we've come to the conclusion for our current state, for us, I guess you can say holistic or natural people. We have a programming, and our programming is we're going to follow the script. The script is, if I have a boy, I'm going to raise him as a boy. If I have a girl, I'm going to raise her as a girl. And if they choose later down the road to go on a particular path that's contrary to what I instilled in them, they have the free will to do so. So I'm not blocking that, but it was a very interesting discussion. I think we made a lot of covered a lot of ground. I would like to thank my chat that was very active. Please go to Facebook and find the POD Talk Show and subscribe and share, and definitely hit the like button. And that's something that we have to put forth today. Let me put this last chat on the last comment on the screen. I also think parents allow children to choose our form of love. Choose. I'm gonna paraphrase here. I also think parents allow children to choose their form of love. They want their child to know that they are loved regardless. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, they corrected it. Also think parents allow children to choose out of a form of love. Yeah. And that's a
And
good
we
question
gotta,
because we just did a show on, was it love? Is love an illusion?
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely check that show out. We kind of went deep into, what is LOVE. But I appreciate everyone that was active in the chat, and like I said, please like, subscribe, and share on the YouTube channels, because if you're watching via the Facebook group, it allows you to watch the podcast, but you actually got to go to the YouTube channels and hit the like button and subscribe and share and all that good jazz. And I appreciate everybody, for coming through and supporting. And, it's been a great discussion.
Mm-hmm.
My co-host, y'all have any closing remarks before we carry on?
you got something to say, Joy?
Born when you're born, male or female. That's it.
I just got one thing to say. Just know that things are changing, and what was right and wrong in your upbringing, it's all twisted, baby.
Something wrong with him. All right, I'm gonna say peace to everybody, and we gonna get on up out of here. POD, yeah.